Hmm. Let's see. What am I
Hey
gonna do?
there. A question for you. Are you ready to take charge of your goals and maximize your potential in 2025? Well, tonight is for you because I'm talking about the big picture. That is the art of strategic planning. And I'm talking about it from the individual standpoint. And the easy thing to know is that we're only going to talk about 5 steps. It's a process. And those 5 steps, I'm going to tell you what they are now so you can just jot them down and follow along. One is to define your vision and mission. We've talked about that a little bit in some earlier videos. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in detail tonight. Step two is conduct a SWOT analysis. Get into that. Three is set specific long term objectives. Four is develop your action plans. Five is review, adjust, and update your system, your process, your workflow. Whether you're juggling a corporate job, doing volunteer service, you've got a side business, you can use the information in tonight's show as part of creating your strategic plan. So I'm excited for you and for the information that you will get here tonight. And so I want to welcome you to the show, welcome you to Purposeful Productivity. I am Florence Donald, and I'm here to just share this with you. And we're going to talk about this topic uh, that is typically reserved for large organizations. When you hear strategic planning, many times we hear it in relationship to a large organization. And we're going to talk about what it is as well. And before we get into all of that, I want to say hello to a couple of folk who are in the building with me. And while I do that, I want to just say if you're new here, go ahead and put hashtag newbie in the chat if you're in live with us in the building today and you're visiting us for the first time. And for those of you who are not new and you know who you are, go ahead and put Live Tribe in the chat. So I want to say hello to you all and let me get to the right place right now. Yeah, I'm being silly. All right. So, hello Frank Jackson. Moderator salute to you, sir. Glad to have you out there serving and hanging out with us this evening. Glad you're in the building. Moderator salute to you, David Hunt. You are not new. You are not new. Love it. Love it. And hello, emotional CEO. Yes, happy Friday, Live Tribe. That is your greeting to everyone. And salute to you as a moderator as well. We've got some phenomenal folks joining us in today. All right, Yolanda. Hello to you. What about that W? That was a nail biter, right? I saw your face. You were like, I'm not sure we're going to pull this one out. And you weren't, but they did it. They did it. They got it done. They got it done. All right. Let's see. There is there are some people who cannot follow direction. Talking about hashtag oldie. That was not one of the choices. What are you doing? But it's okay. We have fun over here hanging out together. Let's go ahead and get into what I want to talk about tonight. And I'm going to start with just talking about what a strategic plan is. And it is just essentially a roadmap. It's a roadmap for you for your future. It's talking about your long-term objectives and the steps that you're going to take to achieve those long-term objectives. And what do I mean by long term? I mean 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years, those longer term items you want to achieve in your life and in your business and in your any organization you're part of. Tonight, again, I want to focus on for us, the person, the individual person, because it's essential. It's crucial because your strategic plan for yourself will help guide the decisions you make and keep you aligned with the vision that you have. So let's clarify this one thing. A strategic plan and annual goals and objectives are different. The strategic plan, again, is longer term, 3 to 5 big outcomes, big picture. Your annual goals is what you want to accomplish in a 90-day, 6 month, 1 year time frame. So think of this from the time that it takes. If you can accomplish it in that 90 days, it's not a strategic objective. Okay. It's going to take a little bit longer. So I want to put this with your annual planning goals because you may have, if you've ever created your own strategic plan, you may be in year 2 or 3 or 4 of that plan, and now you're planning the goals to keep you moving. But if you've never created a strategic plan for yourself, for your life personally, you're going to get through the process of creating it and then begin to track those measurable targets over the next few years as you go along. So, I'm just going to submit every individual, every adult needs one of these plans. Otherwise, year to year, we're just kind of tacking and responding to what happened. We're not walking in a clear direction. We don't have a plan. We don't have a roadmap that we've created for ourselves, for our lives in the state, wherever we are, whatever position we're in, whether we're early career, ready to leave a career, single, married, whatever, a strategic plan is our roadmap for completing things that are truly important to us. It also helps us avoid stress and burnout because we have a roadmap, right? So it helps you in so many ways. So let's talk. First thing you're going to do. The first thing you're going to do is define your vision and your mission. Now, this is the question that you want to answer is what do you truly want to achieve in the long run? What do you actually want to achieve in the long run in your life? Beyond breathing. Beyond breathing. What do you want to achieve? And you're going to write that thing down. I want to whatever that is for you. And by doing this, you start to create and you can see your sense of purpose, the thing that motivates you. One of the things that I do when I interview um, potential colleagues, the first question I ask everyone is, what are you passionate about? What gets you up in the morning? And you would be amazed at what some of those answers are. I interviewed someone this week, and the person said, what gets me up in the morning is figuring out how to use technology to help other people. He didn't say making more money. He said how to use technology to help more people. I've had all kinds of answers, but if you think of this vision as what am I really passionate about? What gets me up in the morning? For me, helping people is a big driver. It is a huge driver in my life. So, something that's going to keep you motivated even when there are distractions, even when there are challenges. That's the thing. That's the question. Answer that question and write it down. Okay. It'll keep you going when things are tough. It'll keep you making progress, and you will start to feel that achievement happening over a period of time. That's your vision. Now, paired with that vision is your mission. What long term, this is the question to answer. What long term impact do I want to make in my life, in the life of other people? Now, the other people could be family, it could be a town, a city, a state, a country, the world. But what impact? And I think of it this way for myself. When I close my eyes for the last time and I'm no longer here, what is the legacy I want to leave on the world? That's that long term impact. If you have thought of that question and you've answered it, put yes in the comment. And if you haven't, it's okay. It's perfectly okay. It's not too late. So, what long-term impact do you want to make? And pair those and keep this in mind. We talked about this in an earlier video, which I'll link to. Keep in mind both of these, your vision and your mission, must align and take into account your core values, those values that are truly important to you, regardless of what they are: excellence, service, respect, stability, family, relationships. There's a plethora of values. You're the only person who know what those values are and which ones are truly important to you. And it's more likely somewhere in 3 to 5 that like you measure everything against. I'll give you an example, someone who's really, really, really important in my life. One of this individual's top values is respect. And the way people show that respect in this person's life is by actually listening to what the person says. It's when I talk to the individual, and even when I don't show that level of respect because my brain is going and my mouth start going with it, the person will say something to me and it'll snap be like, this is a huge one for this person. That respect by listening, truly listening to what the person is saying. So respect, but then there's pairing of what that word respect means to the individual. So that's pair these with those values for you, whatever they happen to be. Again, only you know what they are. So let me give you some examples of vision statements. One is I see a world where individuals have effortless can effortlessly manage their time, leading to increased productivity, reduced stress, and a balanced life. That's big because there's so much that can happen to bring that to fruition. Another one is my goal is to empower busy professionals to reclaim their time, enabling them to achieve their personal and professional aspirations without feeling overwhelmed. Again, very big. It may take a lifetime to see that happen, and I may not ever see those if the person is those are vision statements may not see those happen in their lifetime, but they drive them. A couple of example mission statements. My mission is to provide practical tools and personalized strategies that help clients identify their priorities, maximize their efficiency, and create sustainable routines that enhance their overall productivity. Now, again, to accomplish that, it's not going to happen in 3 months, 3 years. It may take a lifetime, but I can certainly move forward toward it. If this is making sense to you, put yes in the comment or give me a thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up and let me know if it's making sense. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Now is a great time while you're hitting that thumbs up button, and also turn on notifications so that you know when I'm live or other content is dropping. So, mission and vision, you've got those down. Now, if you need help with either of these, get the help that you need. Get the help that you need. Don't sit on it and think, I'll get to it. It's not important. Get the help that you need. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you a question before I go on to the next step in the process. I'm going to ask you a question that I want you to think about. And if you feel like you can answer it, put an answer in the comments. And that is, as I go through this learning today, this material today, think about how you can add strategic planning into your regular routine, how you can get that done, especially if you've not ever created your own personal strategic plan. How can you add it into your routine? Okay. So let's move on to number two, and that is conduct a SWOT analysis. Big word. Most people think of it in terms of big organizations, but it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. We can each execute our own SWOT analysis. And what does that stand for? It means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you can make a 2 by 2 grid. And in the strengths grid, you can make a list of what skills or resources do I already have? What knowledge? What talent? What expertise? What do I already have? Your life experience is what you already have. So you've gathered strengths, you've gathered things that you have living your life. Here's the trick, write it down. This is not a resume for a job. This is just you recognizing what you already have. I'm going to pick on David Hunt. David Hunt is a master musician. He pairs technology with music in a way that is very unique to me. That is a core strength. It is really in his case, it is truly an anointing. So you think about what are you just anointed for? You do it and you don't even have to really give it much thought. Those are your strengths, and we all have them. The world would like to think, sometimes have us think that we don't, but every one of us do. So make that list. The second one is the weaknesses. This one, we can all beat ourselves up and figure out what's hindering us. But what are the things, what are the challenges that might hinder you? What are the roadblocks that you might run into, you might face in trying to achieve your strategic goals? Make a list of them. Pure and simple. This does not need to be complicated. Opportunities. Opportunities. I use this as another word for what are my opportunities? This is where I grow. Where can you find growth? Where can I grow? Can I participate in an online community that will force me to grow, that would help me to grow? Come on, David, that accountability thing. Um, can I meet somebody that I think is just where I want to be and connect with them? And we're completely different, but I have a huge amount of respect for them. So I'm watching that person, Yolanda, and I'm learning. So there's a place of growth. There's an opportunity there. I don't know how to do something in my home. So I'm watching Denise Jordan and Leona Dooley to figure that out. I'm learning how to use a camera. So I'm going to go to someone who knows more than me. Where can I find places of growth? And last week, the community asked me to put together a reading list, and I did. That reading list can be a place where you can find growth. So, an opportunity, just reading those 12 books in a year. Ask and answer this question for yourself. Where can I find growth? Just make a list, a simple list, nothing complicated. And now the last one is those threats. What external factors could pose risk? Health, either my health or someone who's close to me, health. Suddenly I'm not a caretaker and suddenly I have to become a caretaker, right? So, what are those things that they could happen and they could be a risk because they're going to, if you will, derail or detract or move you off course. In our personal lives, it's generally something either our health or our family members' health or some big event that happens in our lives. In our business, it could be the same thing, right? So just again, make a list. And I'm going to, now, where do you make a list? Where do you write all this stuff down? I got some examples for you. Glad you asked that question. So I'm going to say you could take something like this. This is a little pocket size, what's called a traveler's notebook, and just use it. You can throw it in your bag. Make a list in here because you can, why? You can keep it with you and it's small, portable, carry it with you. This is one place. Y'all about to laugh at me. If you like a bigger one, same idea, slightly larger, but then still portable. Write it, keep it, make these lists, stick it in there. Don't have to do anything fancy. If you like ring bound binders, you can use something like a Filofax, which is a ring bound, and you can take the pages in and out, stick it in there. So you can, there's lots of ways. If you just do it simple, make 4 sheets: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and just make the list of each of those. Start it. Will you have everyone immediately? No, but start it. Okay. The next thing you want to do after you've gone through your analysis and you've truly looked at these and you said, are these real? Do I want to keep them? Do they make sense? Is this clear enough for me? All of those questions that you're going to answer as you make those lists for yourself. Again, this is about the individual. This is not about your large corporation, your large ministry. It's about you as a individual. You're going to take into account all the parts of your life, all of the parts, your corporate job, your volunteer service, your ministry, your small business, your hobbies, your family, you. Don't forget you in this whole process. Remember you? Yeah, you. All of you, right? Remember all of that. You're going to take these into account as you go through the process. Now, you've done all of that work. Now you're going to set some specific objectives. These are those things you want to that are a 3 to 5 year period of time. Just again, simple. Take a book, make a page, write it down. Not complicated. Open it up, turn to a blank page, put a title on that page, and start writing. The reason I say use a book if you are digital, I'm going to show you another way to do it. I mean, if you're analog, is you don't want to have these items spread in a bunch of different places. So pick a book that you can stick with because, again, these are lasting over several years. So you want to have a place that you can always go back to. So ask me why I have all of these notebooks. I actually use them too. So let's give you an example. And let's just say Barbara has built her mission statement, she's built her vision statement, she's done her SWOT analysis. Now she's brainstorming some 3 to 5 big goals. So one of those goals may be increase her volunteer service from 5 hours a month to 30 hours a month and make that incremental change over a 3-year period of time. She's not going to go from having 5 hours a month now to 30 hours a month in 6 months, probably not even in a year, because her life has to shift dramatically to make that time or open up that 30 hours a month strictly for volunteer service. So that could be one of her objectives. Another one, she has a small business that she's working in addition to her corporate job. So she wants to grow her business revenue, say by 200% in the next 3 years. Let's say currently her revenue is, let's say it's $1,000 a month. So she doesn't want to double it she wants to double it. So she wants to go from $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month. Is that right? Don't do math on screen. I need a calculator. Whatever that is. Now you got to think, okay, this is going to take a period of time, and this is a real strategic goal for me. And I've got to balance these two strategic goals with the life that I'm living today, with the business that I'm growing today. That's why these are bigger than a 90-day or a 12-month. It's going to take some shifting to accomplish them. So those are some examples of big strategic objectives. Just wanted to give you some things to think about. Okay? And you've now set those objectives and you're ready to go to the next step. What is the next step? This is an easy one. This is the one where I love this part. I love this part, love this part, love this part. And that is developing the action plan for each of those objectives. This is what are the actions that I need to take? What are the projects I need to put in place to achieve these outcomes? I've got that vision, I've got that mission, I've set these objectives. And let's use the one of increasing volunteer hours. What are my action steps? Well, in this case, it may be, again, get your notebook, write it down, and you're going to break down these objectives into SMART objectives. It sounds like SMART goals, but it's a little bit different. But the principles of specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound is still applicable. But it's about these longer term outcomes. So, with your example of increasing the volunteer service hours for Barbara, who's got a corporate job, she's got a small side business, she's doing volunteer service. Maybe one of her first steps is to get the strategic plan, request and obtain the strategic plan of the organization that she's volunteering with. So she can see for herself where the organization is trying to go, right? So she's not just saying, I'm going to give you more time and I don't have anything tied to it. She's looking for things like, does this align with my vision? There's anything in here that aligns with my mission, where I want to go, what impact I want to make on the world? There are decisions that are being made in looking at that strategic plan for that organization that she's volunteering with, right? Then the next step may be, let me meet with the head of the organization and have a conversation with them about what I want to accomplish within the organization so that we can get an alignment. And the first one, I want to get that strategic plan by the end of this year. The second one, maybe I set it for 6 months from now. Then the last one, simple example, is Barbara will start to look at her calendar and say, okay, what kind of adjustments can I make in my calendar today to start preparing me? I'm not going to jump from 5 hours. I still have the 5 hours, but maybe it's in those 5 hours. Maybe I take a few of those hours a week, a month, and apply them to mapping out this action plan for this longer term objective. Now, if you're still out there, let me know that you're out there. And if you're new with us, go ahead and hit newbie, put in hashtag newbie in the chat so that I can greet you when I get to that portion. And remember the question that I ask as we go through this. Think about, and if you desire, share in the chat how you can incorporate some of the strategic planning process in your day to day that you're living right now. Leave a comment, let me know. Now, we've gone through that process. We've gone through that thinking, and we've done a lot of work. I'm going to show you an example digitally in a few minutes. But that's not the end of it. There are two things further. These kind of like the little bonus that I want to give you. Well, one is one of the steps, then I want to give you a little bonus. The fifth step is to, once you've written out all of this stuff, again, in your notebook, you want to review it regularly. You want to make adjustments and you want to update it. It's not static. It doesn't, you don't set it and forget it. This anybody who's been in corporate America for any length of time, and when I say corporate America, that could be public sector, private sector, any market, any industry. You remember those big three-ring binders that they would call a strategic plan, and everybody they'd spend months and lots of money. They'd write these things, put them on a shelf, and nobody would ever look at them. They wouldn't open the book and look at it again. We're not doing that. You're going to open the book and you're going to look at it and you're going to assess as you go through the year, is this still aligned with where I want to go? Don't just write it and forget about it. Sometimes I have to pause and make sure I'm not about to say something that I don't want to say publicly, but I'll just share this. In my actual Evernote system, I have a list of goals that have been there and they're on my dashboard. Are you going to see them? No, because they're very personal to me. But I will show you a way in my demo account that you can see how I would set it up. And because I look at them, I can't forget about them. And I have had to make adjustments because of changes even in my life over a period of time. So, making this strategic plan for you personally as an individual, not your job, not some other organization, not the homeowners association you volunteer with, not the community club that you volunteer with, not the school system that you volunteer with for your children, for you. Now, all of those things you take into account, but these are for you and your life. They're not going to stay static. And here's the cheat code, as the saying goes. You're going to have some challenges. And it's important today as you're doing the planning to think, how am I going to deal with these challenges? To making the strategic plan, following the strategic plan, and keeping this strategic plan going. So let's talk about a couple of those challenges, because this is not, you could say this is step 6, but I'm throwing it in here as a bonus because it's not strictly a part of the strategic planning. So one of those big hurdles that's relevant for me is lack of time. Lack of time to focus on creating that plan. Ooh-wee. Life gets hectic. But I'm going to encourage you, even with your hectic life, carve out some specific time each week dedicated to this process. You can start with 15 minutes a week. And if you start now and go to the end of the year, you've got about 7 weeks, I think. So 15 minutes a week, 7 weeks, is a little bit more than an hour, about an hour and a half or so to get through this process. You can get as far as you can. Don't make it so overwhelming that it looks too big to do, because your life is still going. you're still having to deal with everything that you normally deal with, but be willing to invest the time in you because you invest in time, speaking for myself, in everybody and everything else. So be willing to invest the time in you. Another way to tackle that is use something like the Pomodoro technique. Decide, say, on a weekend, a 2 day, a Saturday and a Sunday, for example, or a Monday and a Tuesday, or a Sunday and a Monday, just 2 days, and set aside a couple of hours. But don't just sit and work straight for a couple of hours. Use a Pomodoro timer. You can get them free on the internet. Just search for it and you can put one on your computer or on your phone and they'll work. So you'll work for 25 minutes. You'll take a 5-minute break. You'll come back. You'll work for another 25 minutes and you'll take a 5-minute break. And if you do that over like 4 periods of time over 2 days, you can probably get through this process. So that being too much coming at you to invest, that can be a challenge, but those are 2 strategies you can use to address those challenges. Another one, believe it, is just lack of just not really understanding the benefits for yourself of having the strategic plan and having that clear roadmap. That can be a barrier and a challenge, especially if you've never done it. Here is the strategy I would encourage you to employ. Number one, talk to your business coach, your life coach, or someone who is where you want to be and has accomplished what you want to accomplish. Someone you trust. Find that person. If you need to talk to me, go to my website. You can book an appointment with me. Okay? And have the true conversation to help you get started, especially if you've never created one for yourself. Okay? Get someone who's interested in helping you, not someone in a large organization that thinks and works and they know all about strategic planning, but they're planning for a huge organization, not for the individual. Get the help that you need to get through this challenge. Get into an accountability group. There are plenty of them available. Some are paid and some are not. Whether it's paid with cash or paid with time, you're making an investment in you. And sometimes it's paid with both cash and time. If you're looking for a community, let me know. I there are people here who can help you. I'm gonna tell you. We've got some folks. Hey Tora, so glad to have you in the building with us, ma'am. You were on fire last night. You were on fire. There are people here that's right here in the community who's willing to help you. So get the help that you need. Talk to the community that can help you. And if they can't help you directly, they definitely know people who can help you. Okay? So there are a couple, and then there are other things you can do, like use the Eisenhower matrix to map out what you're going to do and how you're going to tackle it and what you're going to prioritize as well. So Pomodoro, Eisenhower, they all work. Using your calendar is the key. So that's the big tip. Use your calendar so that you make sure you have that focus time for you. Okay? And then use that supportive environment, that supportive community around you as a motivator. Sometimes it's friends, family, sometimes it's colleagues, sometimes it's complete strangers who you formed a bond with, but they're going in the same direction as you and they have the same or similar values as you. I know people like David and this emotional CEO and Frank and Tora and Philip have and Yolanda have the similar values to me. So I can trust when I talk with them and share with them and they know when I share something that's personal, how to keep it confidential, and they know how to, and I'm going to say it. So if you're listening to me and this offends you, you'll be okay. When they pray for me and with me, the prayer gets through and it is answered. So if that is who you are, you're in good company. You're in good company. And if that's not who you are, you'll be okay. I'll pray for you. So I'm going to go back to you guys and then I'm going to show you an example of how I um, do the set up this in my digital tools. So I want to say hello to a couple of folks here. Let's see, where do I start? And I want to welcome a newbie. And if I mispronounce your name, please give me the phonetic pronunciation. But I'm going to say Miss Danae McCain. Welcome to the show and welcome to the live tribe. So glad to have you here. Philip, my friend, I hope all is well. I'm looking for you to start putting your devotionals back out, sir. I'm going to keep bothering you till you do. Just saying. I'm going to keep bothering you till you do. And the woman herself, Just Tornado, so glad to see you in the building, ma'am. I be just let you know, you don't know I be like listening to your devotionals. I just don't say nothing. Now I have just spilled the beans on myself. I be listening, taking some notes, learning some stuff. Thank you, Yolanda, for saying yes, amen. Yes, 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 yes. I'm gonna look real quick and see if there are questions here. I don't see any, but love this comment, Danae. I actually started to carve out time for just me today. Yes, yes. It doesn't have to be a lot of time, but a little bit, a little bit. Oh, well, thank you for letting me know I said your name correctly. Sometimes I actually get it right. Not all the time, but occasionally I get it right. And thank you, David, for reminding people to hit the like button. I'm just checking to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, I've been tearing up the comments today. Been tearing up the comments. A whole lot of. I'm so glad to hear. Yes, I be listening. Yes, and yesterday she tore up Chat GPT with her client. I Girl, did you just not speak the truth? Yeah, I be sitting in the back of the sanctuary minding my business. I sure do. Yes, I do. And yes, thank you, Frank, for reminding me. If you are new here or not new here, go ahead and type equip in the comments and you will be able to have so that others can find you, find your channel and come enjoy your content and learn from what you're putting out as well. Um, it's a community. It's a community and it's a community of believers. And if you've never heard me, I'll just say I don't apologize for it. And if that's not your vibe, I'll pray for you. That's all I'm gonna say. So, um, I don't think I put this one up here. Yes, Taurus live streams are fire every morning. Every morning. Every morning. The woman be on fire, as the saying goes. All right. So let me show you a quick example. Now, for those who don't know, my digital productivity system environment is it's a couple of things, a couple of pieces of software. One of them is the core, the hub, my information hub is Evernote. So I have a demo account and then I have my actual account. Hey, Mike Flemons. um, for being in the building. So glad to have you here. And is my Nightbot not working? I don't see it working. Okay, David. All right. So yeah, thank you for seeing I'm not bothering you. I'm motivating you. Thank you so much. So let's go look at what you could do in any system. And let me just say, you could use any software. You could use Notion, you can use Apple Notes, you can use any number of pieces of software. But this is one way I do it in Evernote. And I've been using Evernote since 2008. I'm really, really dialed into the way it works. And I've got data going back. And so I've learned how to use it. But in my case, mirrors my system. I have what's called a stack, and it's just strategic plan 2025. And then I've got a bunch of notebooks in there, two notebooks in there. I've got one that says links to check out. This has to do with your resources. When you're going through this process, you may need to look up information, have a place to put that information, links, articles, uh, graphics, and I'll go back and show you. And then I actually have a page that says, here's the workflow. This is a simple workflow, but it's, if you will, a checklist to remind me of the steps to go through. I went through them tonight, but it's just a reminder. Again, back to being busy. Sometimes we'll forget these steps. So just having a place where I can get to them. The and then you start to, for example, and then I have a notebook called For My Plan. So this has gotten, so y'all about to see a little bit of me. Um, this is how I want to make impact in my community in the world, and this is actually my real statement. I am dedicated to coaching individuals on effective time management techniques that empower them to set clear goals, eliminate friction, and maintain focus on what matters to them. And if you think about me, when you listen to the content, it's not about entertainment, but it's about removing the friction, getting your goals, being able to focus, and doing it without being overwhelmed. I'm so dialed into that. Making the most of the 1,440 minutes that you have every day when you wake up in the morning, your eyes open, and breath is breathed into you. The breath of the Creator is breathed into you. So dialed into it. And so that's a core part of the way I function. So this is actually my real statement. It's not something I made up. Um, and then what long-term impact? And this one actually is one that changed. And that is I aspire to, so if you listened earlier, this is vision and mission. Vision and mission. This is the vision part. I aspire to cultivate a community of goal-oriented mission, a goal-oriented, well, I can't talk, individuals who thrive by mastering their productivity, fostering creativity, and achieving their dreams. So I'm solely focused on you to help you accomplish what's important to you. So it can be just as simple. Write the question, write the answer. It may take you a few times and playing with the words and writing it and rewriting it and updating it. It's just as simple. Make a note and write. And this becomes your list. So you can just make things. And by the way, if you're interested, I have this SWOT grid with the 4 questions in it. Strengths: what skills or resources do you have? What challenges might hinder you? Where can you find growth? We talked about each of these. And what external factors could pose risk to you? If you're interested in seeing it, let me know. But this is just stuck in here. There's nothing fancy about this. This is just like draw a box and put some words in it. Sometimes we try to make things sound more complicated than they are. Most everything that we've learned to do, we probably learned to do it by the time we're in the 5th grade. Real talk. Real talk. Everything else is a refinement of those core basic things we learned early in life. So That's an example of how you could do this, just whatever system. It could be, again, Notion, Apple Notes, Google Docs, whatever. I happen to use Evernote, and this is an example of how I have mine set up. The links to check out are things like, any websites. And for this sample, I just stuck my website in here, but I actually have a list of other sites in my production one. So, if that made sense to you, let me know. And if it was valuable, just to see how simple and straightforward it is to put that together. That's what I want it to be for you. So that it's something you not only can do, but it's something you will do. Oh, oh, let me Tora, there's a question for you, but I'm gonna let you answer it. Danae asked, "What time does Tora come on?" I'm gonna let you answer it, but I believe it's 5 a.m. Eastern time. If that's correct, let me know. And Tora put in, "I love when things are organized." I do too, but some days, ooh, I'd be on the struggle bus for real. I'd be really on the struggle bus. And oh, wait a minute. Did I do something here? Why is this not doing what I want it to do? If you all are hearing ambulances, please forgive me. There's outside. Oh, it's 5:30 Central. Okay, I thought it was 5 a.m. I just turn it on and I don't look at the time. So should I admit that? I just admitted that. Okay, so we have a question, and the question is, and let me put it up on the screen here. I love answering questions, by the way. Will you elaborate on the importance of starting this now instead of waiting for the New Year's resolution? Ooh, yeah, I don't do New Year's resolutions. Let's start with that. I don't do them. The majority of people, the majority of people write them, and 3 weeks into January, they've forgotten all about them. And truly, most of them don't even write them. They think them, and then 3 weeks later, they done forgot all about them. So the importance is, to answer specifically, number one, your strategic plan is about your long term life. It's not about fixing a short term inconvenience or quote unquote problem or something you don't like in your life. It's about building forward. Remember, I said I ask one question I always ask people when potential colleagues, when I interview them, is what are you passionate about? What gets you up in the morning and gets you going? It's a part of that. Starting it now, because today is the best day. None of us are guaranteed the next 5 minutes. None of us are guaranteed. No man knows the day nor the hour. So, right now is the best time. And every day when we wake up and we have breath, we can't undo yesterday. Tomorrow has not come, but we can look forward to tomorrow and begin working on it now. If you wait, you put yourself that much further behind. I'll link a video that I did last week. But one of the statements I made in that is the things that I've accomplished right now this year in my life started 3 to 5 years ago. They didn't start last week, last month. They didn't even start last year. They started 3 to 5 years ago. The things I haven't done also started 3 to 5 years ago. So, what I will accomplish or not accomplish 3 to 5 years in the future starts today. It starts today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year. It starts today. Because the only time you truly have is now. Tomorrow is not promised, not being morbid, but it isn't. And when you do get to tomorrow, are you further along than you were yesterday, or are you sitting in the same place that you were yesterday? Everything in life happens here first in the mind. You have to see it before you can manifest it. You have to see it and speak it before you can manifest it. Tori, you need to come because you teach people this. That is the importance. If you wait until January, you may not make it to January. Sorry to tell you. No guarantee. But if you make it to January, you're 7 weeks behind where you could have been. And now, instead of running into the 2025 and you're already going, you prime the pump and you're going and you got your foot on the gas, you're trying to find a gas pedal. Where is it at? And now it's going to be March. Before you get going. So you've already put yourself behind by not doing this work now. Tora, thank you for the question. I try not to get into preaching mode. I try. I really do. But you took me there. So I had to try to contain it a little bit. But it's so important for you. It'll help you remove so many things, distractions, disappointments, stress, being overwhelmed, because you'll know what to let go of. Because it's not leading you to that destination. Maybe a great idea, maybe great for somebody else, just not great for you. It's not in the plan that the Creator even has for you. Doing this work, sitting either on your computer or with a notebook and a pen, and allow yourself to do this work will make a huge difference in 2025 and beyond for you. Just so you know, I'm going through this journey. I do this every year. I look at my plan, I refine it. And you all know there are 3 other parts. Some of you already know the 3 parts that I do every year. And some of you, Yolanda, David, you all have seen those pieces already done. And before I started this strategic plan work, I had to complete those other 3. And Tora, I'm going to say this for you and Danae because you're new. Every year, October, I start working on 3 things and praying about, and it takes me a good month to get through it. What's my main scripture for the year coming up? What is God telling me that I have to focus on? What are the affirmations? What change has to change in the affirmations that I say to myself every day? And what is the word of the year that aligns with the other 2? I start there, and it takes me about a month to get through that. And then I go into this period. That first piece, I call it my SAW, scripture, affirmations, and word. And I've done it, and people like David and Yolanda have seen mine because I've shared it in an online community that we're a part of. So I don't share that publicly, at least, especially the affirmations. I may share the word, I may share the scripture, but I don't share the affirmations publicly. But if you're interested in seeing it, I'll just tell you, I have a online community called the Productivity Zone. You can get to it on my website and you can join there. And I share all kinds of stuff that I don't share publicly on YouTube in the community with those who are committed to being a part of the community. So, with that, I have exhausted you all. I've gone much longer than I typically go. I usually do this about half an hour. And today I went a whole hour. So thank you all for hanging with me. So glad to have you here. And what I'm going to say, I'm going to link to the video that talks about developing your goals for 2025 using SMART goals. It'll be right here after the video processes. And I will see you all next week. Be blessed. Have a great night, everybody.